Hey everyone, welcome to the Obsidian Blade Medicine Hour. Hour of power. It's Monday. Can you feel it? That's what we're going to talk about. That intense energy that's going on that is called Mars Retrograde, as well as how we need to deconstruct the way we've been doing the world. And so those two subjects are very on point with each other, actually. They're complementary. How we've been doing the external world, and the fact that we're in a period called Mars retrograde. What does that mean? What do we do about it? What is it signaling us to do for the next basically 3 months? We're going to dive into that and take a look at that. So welcome. If you are here live, I am so glad to see you. And if you are here on the replay, welcome again. This is the Obsidian Blade. And we do lots of things in the name of New Earth and the rising light of the sixth sun, and how we are here to be that rebellious energy of self-discovery and new horizons. And let's swap out these logos here and get in our normal logo. And again, welcome to the show. I have written up this, this is the beginning of the show. This is basically the second week of this show. And I've written up this little intro, but as you're on the journey, the real-time journey of how the Obsidian Blade Medicine Hour is working out, I'm going to read it to you, but I think it needs to be shorter, but all the juice, there's so much juiciness in this. So I'm going to read it to you, and maybe over time, maybe this week, I'm going to reformat it to be a little bit more succinct. Let me jump over here to this page and see who's in the chat. Welcome everybody. If you're new to planet Earth, well, welcome, day one. Hopefully you do it correctly. But also, if you're new to this channel, here's what we do. As intuitive empathic creators coming back online and reclaiming our power, aka the heroes who have remembered themselves, where we place our attention matters. And unhooking it from the fake matrix is really essential right now to wake up to that process, to wake up to the fact that you need to wake up if you haven't woken up yet. It's the alarm clock is ringing. Can you hear it? It's time. And right now there is a great realignment to our truth happening as we shift towards the dawn of the sixth sun, living with New Earth and our galactic reintegration. So we gather here together to cleanse what no longer serves us, to speak about what you will not hear in the mainstream deception machine, and to gain insight on the beliefs that no longer serve you or humanity and cut that shit out. We also do this as a podcast. All the audios from these lives are taken and cleaned up and put on iTunes and Google and Stitcher. And we will show you that now. And also, there is unique content that I put out on the podcast, different meditations and insights that are coming through in the moment, leading us towards the phase of human abilities greater than we've ever known. That phase of humanity where we are, again, working with energies and magic and the truth of how we can expand into our full power. I talked about this on Friday, that we are moving into the human age, and being human has not seen its full potential. And there's a lot of people out there, even in the spiritual community, who deny what human power is, because human power up to this point, and this is going to tie nicely into the Mars retrograde thing, has been external. Has been an external game of displays of power, displays of empire building, displays of manipulation. I'm going to turn that off. And this Mars retrograde thing. Mars is the planet of war. It's connected to Aries. It's very primal energy. And it's very outward energy, right? If you're building your business, you're building your empire, you better believe that's Mars in action, right? That's the fire going on there. And this Mars retrograde has come into play that says, okay, all that external stuff is interesting. It's led us to this point, right? We work with contrast. As creators, we all work with contrast. We need to experience sometimes the shit. We need to experience something that we hate in order to redefine and clarify what we love. And this period right now is saying, I don't want to say take a break, because, you know, whenever there's like a Mercury retrograde that happens, or like a Mars retrograde, like we're like, oh, does that mean I don't do anything, that I don't continue my life? No, you're continuing your life, but in a different manner. You're continuing your life in an inward action. The focus is on the inside of you, but it's just as active. So it may not look like you're doing anything on the outside, but the work is happening on the inside. And what we're doing in this Mars retrograde is that if you want to see new outcomes in your life, you're going to have to decide what that feels like from within you first. And there is a new relationship with the inside of you that's being called for right now. Because if external reality is going to match the inside of you, then and you're wanting change, then that change comes from within. And if we look at the external mirror of the world up until this point, we really have to be nice to ourselves. There's a lot of fucked up people in power, the old world of power, basically not stepping up to model what it means to be nice to self and what it means to be nice to other. Those people, where the fuck do you come from? Or are you just here to be our hard teachers, our reminders? You know, are the shitty people on this earth right now really our allies in the end, to show us how to be nice, to remind us of our potential and our capacity for self-care, self-love, and then to extend that out to others? Yes, I think they are. Because when you're one, all is one. So for myself, you know, I woke up, God, I felt yesterday, Sunday, was just so hard. I was just hitting, I felt like I would describe to somebody right now, I feel like I'm hitting a brick wall in my third chakra and my solar plexus. And I really feel that is one of the power places where you take action from your solar plexus. And I'm just feeling like a knot, like I'm pushing against a brick wall within my own chest and going like, what wants to be expressed here? What is asking me to do this different? And it's an interesting time to start a new phase of my business by doing this YouTube live, which is such an externalized expression, such an outward force, when it's really a time of going within. It's not winter, but it's, well, in the Northern Hemisphere, but it's really this time of going within and going like, what are the best actions I can take to align myself with the love, align myself with the good relationships I want, align myself with how I want to run my business in this world? And again, all actions that you're going to experience in this world are mapped out first from within your mind, your heart, spirit, and body. So this is a time that we need to take, because the body is the subconscious. So going within allows us that time to be with the subconscious of our actions. And the body is a memory of all your previous agreements in thinking. It's the storehouse uh, of what you have thought. And that's where, if you've ever wondered where your subconscious is, I firmly believe it's your body. It's all your thinking programmed into your cells, so that it's effortless to continue how you thought it was. But how we all thought it was is totally up for grabs, because we're having to exercise some serious leadership here. The deconstruction of the pyramid scheme of where those at the top determine what happens for the many, many, many below is over. And so this is really like, okay, maybe this is the last time that we look to the outside world and we stop being frustrated. There's such a disempowerment in being angry at the system. Yes, you should be angry. Yes, there's violations of human rights and human dignity going on, and stupidity being encouraged. But we're getting frustrated as if that system knows better, when anybody who studies that system understands that it's actually there to generate disempowerment and keep you hooked into hoping, thanks Obama, hoping that it's going to correct itself, hoping that somehow it's going to have self-awareness. I don't think it ever will. I think it's based in the past. If you look at how this system was created, it's based upon the ideals of the past. And as any entity that exists, it has a serious defense mechanism to stay alive. But how we can starve this bitch is by no longer participating in it, by having zero fucks, zero opinions, zero engagement. You know, it's an interesting question. How do we just remove power from the system so that we're no longer frustrated because it doesn't do the right thing? And we have to become the shift. We have to become the change that we seek, and we have to do the right thing. So may we unhook ourselves from any sort of machinery that is keeping you emotionally hooked into it. Because you notice it continues to do the wrong thing and do the wrong thing and do the wrong thing, and your emotions are hooked into it. You're having to protest. I mean, dismantle this thing. Dismantle the whole thing. So again, there's this need that, you know, we keep looking to the outside for the answers. And right now, this is a time where you must become the answer. You must become the answer that you seek. You must become the good feeling resolution, the good feeling determination, the good feeling vista, the good feeling landscape, the good feeling destination first. And then as we transition to outward actions because we found inward alignment, then those outward attractions and outward actions are going to be completely in alignment. I mean, really dig that. You hear that word alignment a lot. And what does it mean? When you can actually feel what it means to be good to yourself, and then you don't compromise that goodness through when you're given offers of external realities or offers of external engagement, right? You tune into how you feel. Hey, Martina, you tune into how you feel on the inside. And once you know that so well, then you're holding the vibration of that space. And then when something comes outside of you and says, hey, would you like to do this? You're like, you compare and contrast. How close to my vibration is this thing? Oh, maybe not at all. Oh, I feel myself maybe dipping into old patterns of trying to please people when this new person's come along. But thankfully, I know really well my inner alignment. So I'm like, I'm not tempted to do my past, and I'm not tempted to thwart or dismantle the standing vibration of what is good and true and what inspires me on the inside. And so you're like, no thanks. You know, when we do that level of deep alignment, then nothing is going to take you off your path. This Mars retrograde, let's use this time. I think we're finally out of its phases sometime early October. I'm not an astrologer. Definitely Google that shit. But as I understand it, sometime around early October is when we're completely out of this phase. So really dive deep into knowing what it means to feel yourself and to really get into, are you being so nice to yourself that you actually even entertain massive abundance for yourself? I mean, just notice anytime that you're compromising within yourself. And if you're compromising within yourself, you better believe you're compromising without yourself on the outside of you. So really examine and work yourself on the inside until you get a clean, clear, self-loving alignment and picture and inspiration from within you, and hold that firmly. I mean, you take that Mars energy, that warrior energy, and be like, you've gone so within that you're like, you're just bringing it out, and then you're holding it like almost like, a shield and a sword, right? You're holding the firmament of your own vibration like this. This is what to me, one part of a spiritual warriorhood would be this: the definition of who you are as determined from the inside of you going outward. And I would take that as the direction of what Mars retrograde can do, And it's an interesting time because if we look at the system or we look at relationships, they're all broken. They're all really broken, in a lot of ways. We are really needing to find healthy relationships, business relationships, community relationships, sexual partnerships, sexual relationships. These all need to be healed right now. We all came here for these experiences. We want to dive deep into them and get dirty in existence. But it's time to do this correct without compromise, and to really find people who are matching you, because you have matched yourself first. That's really, I keep driving that home right now. And I notice it in myself. I notice that it's my job to know what it feels like. You don't have to get into the details either. Just know the feeling of what it means to be in a nice relationship where you're held and seen, and it's easy, and it's just easy. Not easy in a lazy way, but just easy in that it's not a compromise. Just zero compromise right now. I think that's what we've been divorcing ourselves of culturally, is compromise. Like, this is the end of compromise. No more, no more compromise. And to examine if any of that compromise first lives from within yourself, and then heal that shit, and then over time, then you can move out into the world because you have become firm in your vibration, because you know your vibration, right? You've cleaned house, you've opened the space, and now you are ready to be seen in the world. This is really what we're moving forward to. Becoming the change you seek, and then being seen in the world as that permanent change. The permanent change over to the new earth. The permanent change over into a human being that shows that they are infinite in potential and creative power. And that the age of the human is just beginning. And that when we are able to reclaim all of our energy, we are then able to take that energy reclaimed and spend it and apply it in new ways. And when we apply energy in new ways beyond the confines of social structure, engineered, limited mindsets, when we ditch all that, we take energy to new places. We become brave as explorers of our own existence. We become brave as people who take power and use it in different ways that go beyond what we've been told exists. That's what I'm driving at, where that's where the leap is, right? Because right now everybody is selling you a new version of the old program. And this is where I have kind of a beef with a lot of people who are selling you these concepts of earn a six-figure income doing what you love. There's a fine line there where, yes, be empowered. Yes, do your business and serve humanity. And yes, find out the most efficient way to be in your truth. But are we really here just to become an idea of wealth that comes from the past, that comes from the system itself? Are we really here to become an idea of wealth? And that's a really key phrase, wealth. Are we really here to be another photocopy of wealth? When wealth means an abundance of energy, and that wealth could be invested in and spent in new ways. Don't ever buy anything from a man named Truth. Because truth is very limited. And truth is very relative to the person or people who are speaking it. And so that means there's not one truth, but there's many truths. It's very interesting because there's universal spiritual laws, right? Kind of like gravity and law of attraction and how creation is created. Yet within those confines of universal structure, there's infinite expression and infinite truth. So, redefining wealth. And so this is New Earth. We want to get into New Earth. It doesn't mean earning a ton of money and then spending it in the same way that has been shown for you to spend it in. Money is currency, and currency is energy. So let's be abundant in wealth, abundant in currency, abundant in, energy. But what happens when we're no longer spending our energy in a way that's predetermined by the description of a society and a world that was handed to us without question? We have the potential for discovery of using our wealth, currency, money, energy, application of attention, application of power in different ways. Let us be open to receiving new models and or creating those new models. I mean, really, when I was talking the other week about the Starseed Equality Program, it may be down to us to be the ones to forge ahead a new model of humanity. It's not going to be handed to us, because what's important about a new model of humanity is that it feels good to us. It's not some sort of virtue that we've got to raise up to. again, that's somebody else's model. It's just got to feel good. We've got to become discoverers of liberation, and liberation means to me bliss and feeling great. What does a great feeling society look like? To be aware and be wary of, the old versions of what a great feeling society looks like. If you look at commercials, like I see them all the time for like Vegas. Oh, like Vegas is the pinnacle of feeling great. Like you're going to get drunk and you're going to party and you're going to get the limo. And, these really somewhat kind of like gross extravagances, they're just kind of gluttonous. I mean, sure, they're fun, but as a sustainable lifestyle, they just look like gluttony. They look like, really, that's the best humanity can do, is party your ass off. How about God, there's so many more ways I think we could have a blast, and that's for us to discover. So I think, to put a cap on this, to wrap it up about Mars in retrograde right now, the rebellion is happening, but it happens on the inside first. It happens by you disconnecting the system from within yourself and writing by hand what feels good to you. And when you anchor the vibration of what feels good to you and you live within it, you are now writing, being the author of your new OS operating system. The rebellion is happening from within. Write your operating system and feel great. And then take that greatness and be seen in the world as someone who lives from the real reality of infinite potential, infinite abundance. Everybody's going to get theirs. There's so much for everyone. We. I mean, that's the essence of the Aquarian age. We're moving from me to we. And we recognize that there doesn't really need to be the unhealthy version of competition where there's limited resources or limited attention or limited love. There is unending love waiting for us. There is unending fortune and abundance waiting for us. We have just got to live in the good feeling space of that infinite love, abundance, wealth, potential, and power. And really ask ourselves, what does it look like? So yeah, that was, I'm really impressed that I actually got here today. Because again, the Mars retro energy was just like, stay in bed. Don't do anything. Everything external is too hard. And what may be too hard is up for examination for sure. So I am so stoked to see everyone here on the live. And if you're here catching it on the replay, please hit subscribe. Please hit the notifications bell. That is going to help you know when I go live. But I'll just tell you, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays at 10 a.m. and Pacific Standard Time. And what's important is that bring your questions. This is community. This isn't just about me talking to the microphone. I'm just here being the intuitive empath guide, sharing with you what the pulse is. But I want to hear how you're challenged. I want to hear what's coming up for you. You can send me a direct message if you don't feel comfortable chatting it in the chat window. Send me a DM or follow me on Instagram, and we can chat there. And I'd love to hear from you. And I wonder, can I even do that one? And yeah, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Obsidian Blade Medicine Hour. You can find me at Facebook, the Obsidian Blade Podcast. We're on Instagram. We're also on Twitter, starting that up. This is just the point where I'm like relaxing. I'm like, oh, okay. I did what I came here to do. I showed up. We made it happen. It's Monday. Take it easy. You know, traditionally Monday is this day. Did you know traditionally Monday is the day that most people in the Western world have heart attacks? More people die on Mondays than any other day of the week. Because people are dying, literally dying, to do this different. So let's go within and find out what different really looks like to us. How different can feel great to us. And then let's anchor that in and then live that difference and enjoy ourselves here on planet Earth. Love you so much. And thank you again for showing up, Martina. It's awesome to see you here all the times. Please share with your friends if you like this video and if you enjoy what's being talked about here. Again, we're here to anchor New Earth, talk about our galactic reintegration, to find clarity in the chaos and lead ourselves towards the light of the sixth sun. And I am here to be your friend, and so good to see you. Love you. Catch you on Wednesday.